5 stocks that you should buy in this dip. I copied this title from another YouTuber. He, like me, is a retired financial advisor. He, like me, is maybe a little older than some of the other YouTubers. So I assume he, like me, has experienced the dot-com bubble, the subprime crisis, and he has seen overvalued stocks and stocks that were momentum stocks. He, like me, has experienced war. I didn't really experience World War II, but I did experience the Vietnam War, and I've experienced the war that we've been fighting in Afghanistan that was facilitated by the war we took into Iran. And he, like me, has been around for all that and knows that these are the kind of events that move the market, that move the governments, that funds the markets. But unlike me, or me unlike him, I don't believe the 5 stocks you ought to buy today are in the electric vehicle field. I just don't. I think there are more important things happening in our world that are going to move the markets in a direction that has to be recognized. And if you don't, you're going to be left behind. At least that's my opinion. So I'm going to spend this video telling you what the 5 stocks I think you should buy and why you should buy them and why they're at such a opportune price right now. So stick with me. Let me share with you, although I'm a retired financial advisor, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm here only for entertainment and education. And if you like this, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And we'll get rich together. So stick with me here.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
I'm going to start out by saying I think you should read this book. It's not an easy read. It's The Codebreaker by Walter Isaacson, and it's a thick book, too. I actually listen to it on Audible when I go out for my exercise and then come back and read the sections that I need to read. And what I learned from this book is that the reason we got our vaccine as quickly as we did was because of genome sequencing and genome editing. They literally sequenced the virus's genome and then ran tests in petri dishes as to determine what sort of protein they had to introduce to that virus to kill it. And then they put that in these vaccines that we have hopefully all taken. And we have that in our bloodstream now, so that if the virus does come into our body, this genome sequenced vaccine will attack it and keep us from getting it. Didn't keep me from getting a cold, though. So I recognize that this is something that would have happened, but in fact it happened probably 4 years, 3 years prior to when it normally would have happened as a result of the coronavirus. Now, I take the coronavirus and I see that as our next weapon of terrorism. I honestly believe that right now there are terrorists who are trying to develop a virus to bring to our country and to other countries. And I recognize that that virus, the coronavirus, is the most far-reaching event that has happened in my 76 years of lifetime. And I include the Vietnam War and World War II. They were isolated events. They didn't affect every household on the planet much as the virus did. So I look at that and say, this can never happen again. And there is going to be every bit of money spent and knowledge and innovation and technology spent on that mankind can produce. And then the other event is that of cybersecurity, and that is the second war that we're engaging in or getting prepared to engage in. But those stocks didn't pull back. Those stocks are basically, that's new to the scene. I actually thought, well, that is new. But then I said to myself, in fact, I typed it into Google, what is the current level of cyber attacks in this country? And I came across a website called Daily Swig. Its URL is Swigger, PortSwigger.net. And it gives a day-by-day account of every cyber attack that is reported. And it goes all the way back into 2020. So these companies that are basically protecting us from the cyber attacks are relatively new, and they're a technology that's, somebody's going to have to write another very long book to get me to understand all the elements of it. So as I look at the stocks I own in that category, they're having daily fluctuations, but they're not dropped. So let's get back to the 5 stocks that I think you should buy in this dip. And I take the dip all the way back to roughly the 1st of January. The first of these would be CRISPR. CRISPR is a Scandinavian country or company that works with the immunotherapy of CRISPR. That is a generic term, CRISPR, and they gathered the name before anybody else, and so that's they're down 40% from where their high of last January. Why is this? Because there was a movement away from technology, a movement to safety, because there was a question of liquidity. And so money moved from speculative to or stocks that were not profitable. These are not profitable. They're new. This is cutting edge. So they aren't profitable. CRISPR's down 40%. I'm adding to my positions. Editus, ticker EDIT, is down 52%. There's some tremendous profitability there. Beam is another one. It goes about the genome editing a little bit different. CRISPR and Editus uses what they call a scissors method. Beam use something a little different, but they're in the same area. They're developing products or therapies to basically take any genome or gene-related diseases out of our body, and that's heart disease, that's cancer, that's Parkinson's, that's Alzheimer's. So when I see that and I lay it up against electric vehicles, which is going to make the biggest difference in my life, whether I drive a gas vehicle or an electric vehicle, I don't think is going to make a whole lot of difference in my life. But I think if they can take cancer out of my body, and my mother died of cancer, my father died of cancer, my daughter died of cancer, I'll probably die of cancer unless one of these people come up with a therapy to take it out of my body. Then there's another one that's down 47%. That's Pacific Biosciences. That's PACB. It's not really a therapy. It is a genome sequencing company that, again, was up substantially and dropped out of favor when this dip occurred. And it's down 47%. So if you are new to these stocks and you want something that is going to give you a 40, a 52, a 37, a 47% return to its price back in January, those are the stocks you should buy: CRISPR, Editas, Beam, and Pacific Biosciences. And then on my fifth stock is NTLA, ticker NTLA. It's actually up 182%. So why is that on my list? Because I want you to see the potential of what can happen when these stocks come out with findings that say, hey, we're in clinical trials, in body clinical trials, and we have, as NTLA did, come up with a therapy to cure a disease that kills people in their liver. They put this therapy, NTLA, into the body, and within a matter of weeks, I did a video on it where I even, NPR did a very extensive story on it, and so did the Wall Street Journal. And as a result, they had a breakthrough, and stock is up 182% in probably 2 weeks. So I see in CRISPR, Editas, Beam, and Pacific Auto equal to 200 when they get the results. Now you might say, well, why haven't they gotten the results? Well, because when the coronavirus occurred, their labs were shut down. And then when they did allow them to open, the government came to them and said, put this CRISPR work about curing diseases on a back burner and find us a vaccine. Now they're still dedicating part of their work, if you will, towards finding the vaccine for the next attack of biowarfare. And I use the word attack very loosely. I don't personally believe that China or anyone else attacked us. I think it was an accident. I don't think it was a fluke of nature. I think it was an accident. But I don't think it's the last time it's going to happen. I think, as I say, I think we just taught the terrorists that they don't need to fly planes into our tall buildings ever again. If they want to bring us to our knees, they now know how to do it. And they now also know that they can do it through cyber attacks. Can you imagine if a cyber attack and it just took our internet down? Can you imagine what they might ask as ransom? Can you imagine if we get the White House gets a memo and says, hey, we just sent some people to Paducah, Kentucky, and we've spread a virus, and you're going to see it in the next 14 days. And oh, by the way, if you want the vaccine to save those people in Paducah, Kentucky, we'd like you to send us somewhere in the neighborhood of $700 million worth of Bitcoin. It's going to happen. It is. It's going to happen. You can't logically believe it isn't. So if you want to profit from a bad situation, you need to own these stocks. It isn't. Electric vehicles aren't going to go through the roof. Look at all the electric vehicle companies there are, and look at the profitability of the automobile industry, and you tell me why you should buy what I'm not going to go into the stocks. You can go find his recommendations. No, you want the top 5 stocks from the current dip. I just gave them to you. Read this book. Educate yourself. Understand what is happening and the opportunities that it's presenting you. This is unheard of. This is unheard of. Imagine someone declaring war on us and the whole machine, not on us, on the whole world. And the whole world puts all its energy and its money together to stop it. That's where we're at. So what should you buy? I just told you. If you want to see how I own this, come to our Discord. You can get a ticket at bestofusinvestors.com. You have it's a bad situation. It's a bad situation. But somebody's going to profit off of it. And I'm raising my hand to participate. I'll talk to you tomorrow.